learning how to use this body in the way it's designed. And hunger is the signal that we have been given to be able to know when to eat. What are some of the challenges? Let's get to the problems. Let's solve them, because we need to get that stuff out of the way so we can get what we really want and get this permanent weight loss right. All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm so excited. This is our last class in this particular series. I'm Dr. Andrea Christian Parks, and welcome to my channel. This particular series we're doing is focus on hunger, the key, the absolute requirement for weight loss, for permanent weight loss, because we're learning how to use this body in the way it's designed. And hunger is the signal that we have been given to be able to know when to eat. That's the design, and that's what we're focusing on this entire series. So this week, I wanted to talk about some challenges that you might have come up against over the past few weeks. If what you've been doing is really working on identifying hunger and getting to hungry enough, and figuring out how to wait, and how to shift around your life, your routine, your normal signals for eating, into just honing in and focusing on hunger, some things might have come up. Some challenges might have arisen, and I want to make sure that I address them. So that's what we're going to talk about in this last class of the series. Now, before we go there, a couple things. I want you to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, you got to do it. Got to subscribe. It's going to give you just the whole library of all the things. You can just go and scroll through and pick out all the things that can help you along this weight loss journey. I also want you to hit your notifications, because each week when this class comes out, I want you to be one of the first to get it. Okay? So it doesn't pass you by. You don't miss it. It just goes ping, and then there you go. You're notified. I also want you to share. If you've got some friends, some family, a bestie, somebody who needs help, and maybe you're not the one to tell them stuff, but they're looking for resources, this right here, share. It's just a gift. You're just giving a gift to someone who might need it, okay? And I want to say up front, because I always say this at the end, but I want to say this up front. Some of you want a coach. Some of you want to work. Now, you have your personal doctors, and there's lots of coaches out there. And there's some physician coaches out there. I'm here to help. I'm here to give you what you're looking for, to help you, walk you through this process of getting permanent weight loss in your life. Now, if you all haven't gone way back and you don't know, then maybe you don't know. I personally went through this process. It took me forever. Not forever. It took many, many years. I was overweight all of my adult life. And about 15 years ago, I lost 60 pounds. And it was a lot of struggle and a lot of frustration and a lot of learning. And I really don't want anybody else to have to go through the long way, the way I did. If I can help kind of jump you forward to where maintaining your weight is not a problem. Maintaining your ideal weight is not a problem. It's just a new way of living. And so that's what this is all about. That's why I'm here. And some of you really do want to work with me. And some of you just haven't sent that little email yet. If what you want is one-on-one, I want you to email me. Email me at drandreachristianparks@gmail.com, and let's set up your time. Let's get an hour. It's free. We'll just dedicate a whole hour to you and your situation and start working on that. And then at the end of the hour, if you want to keep going, then we'll set up longer term coaching. Okay? So, what are some of the challenges? Let's get to the problems. Let's solve them, because we need to get that stuff out of the way so we can get what we really want and get this permanent weight loss right. Number one, over hunger. So sometimes some of what happens to people is we ignore hunger. We're snacking, we're eating, we're doing our routine, we're just eating on a schedule. But when we start to dial into the physical sensation of hunger, sometimes what we find out is, I feel like I'm hungry all the time. I'm hungry all the time. Now, if you've identified that for sure this is not emotional hunger is all the time. Because every time something frustrating, difficult, challenging comes up, your brain has learned over the years to solve it with food. Eat chips, eat cookies, eat candy, eat a bar, whatever. Have a glass of wine, etc. But if you've noticed that it's actually stomach hunger, one of the reasons for what we call overhunger is processed food. Now, processed food, what am I talking about? So I'm talking about things like basically things containing sugar and things containing flour. And that means all kinds of flour. So if that is corn flour in chips, wheat flour in crackers, if you're eating things that are coming out of packages and boxes, particularly snacks and chips, all those sorts of food, because they drive insulin up so fast, they tend to cause a spike in insulin and a drop. And then that drop triggers hunger. So one of the things that you really might want to look at is how much processed food are you eating? Because if you're eating more sugar and flour, then it's going to drive your hunger. Once you start to get that down or eliminate it, and you're eating more whole foods, whether it's salads or veggies and chicken and, things that have single ingredients in them. Like if there were a package label, it would just say one thing, broccoli or green beans, whatever. That sort of stuff. Those foods don't tend to drive over hunger. It's the stuff with the sugar and flour that tend to really drive you feeling like you need to eat more frequently than maybe you would. So if you move over to more whole foods, one thing you're going to notice is that those foods are more nutrient dense. You may need to fiddle and think about adding, good healthy fat like avocado or a creamy dressing or something like that on your salad. Cooking your veggies in oil or butter. If you're roasting them, drizzling lots of nice olive oil on them, because all of that helps keep your body full and satisfied, and it doesn't burn up as fast as sugar and flour. The flour and sugar burn up super fast, and then you need to eat again. So that gets in the way. It takes up a lot of time. It actually drives faster weight gain. So if you're finding you're just hungry all the time, you might want to look at how much processed food you're eating. So that's a big one. Number 2, stress. Stress drives hunger. When you are stressed, your instinct is to make it go away. And what we've learned over the years, and I know I've talked about this before, so I won't spend a lot of time, is that if we eat something in that moment, the focus on the snack, the focus on the chips or even if it's healthy, the peanut butter and whatever, that sort of moment alleviates the stress. So we think, okay, eating solves the stress. It does, but only for those few moments that you're actually eating. And then long term, your weight gain comes on the back end. So it's a net negative. You end up basically not getting the result you want, even though in the moment you solve the stress. So if you're under a lot of stress, and all of us in the midst of this pandemic, our busy lives, kids, school, work, juggling all the things, stress is real. The question is, how can we solve our stress? How do we support ourselves without food to solve for stress? So start thinking. I often tell my clients, why don't you write down things that will help alleviate your stress? And I'm happy to make suggestions. If you're not sure, ask some questions here. I'm happy to answer them. but ways to help you feel less stress in that moment without food. Okay, what else? What else is a challenge, a hunger challenge? Lack of sleep. So, we live in a society that says, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Sleep is for the weak. You just have to push through, pull all-nighters, stay up late, get up early. You can just caffeinate. America runs on Dunkin'. I mean, we know all this, right? Drink all the coffee. Here's the problem. When we don't get enough sleep, we actually hijack our hunger hormones. And I won't get too technical into that. That's beyond the scope of what I can do in these little videos. But the information is out there. There are hormones that drive hunger and drive satiation, and they get way out of whack when we don't sleep. I will tell you right now, the average adult needs 7 hours of sleep, minimum. Some of you need 8, some of you need 6.5, most of you need 7 or more. Now, if you're sleeping like 12 that's too much sleep, and you may have something else going on. So definitely check with your doctor if that's the case. But somewhere between 7 and 8 hours, most adults, that's what we need. If you're chronically doing 6.5 or 6, you may be messing up your hormones to the point where you're trying to compensate. Your hunger signals are trying to compensate for your lack of sleep. So if you're not sleeping enough, that needs to be solved so that the hunger can be manageable and reasonable for what your body actually needs for fuel. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about, and I know this is going a little long, so I'll be quick, is food as reward. Now, we've learned over the years that celebration requires champagne or cake, that we should have ice cream when we win a softball game. Basically, we learn the concept that when we do something good, the way to reward ourselves is with food. And so I had a hard day. I worked really hard. I did a good job. I'm exhausted. I'm busy, and I should have a treat. Now, the key question you want to ask yourself is, what do I really deserve? Do you deserve to live in a body that you feel comfortable in a body that you feel is the size that serves your height, is a body that takes you where you want to go, that lets you keep up with your kids, that lets you run up the stairs when you need to? What do you really deserve? Is the cake or the cookies or the glass of wine or whatever, is that what you really deserve? Or is that what you're settling for? Because a lot of times we've decided that, well, I have to eat, and so it's acceptable to reward myself with food or alcohol. When really what we deserve is to treat ourselves better than that. You deserve extra rest. You deserve recreation. You deserve a life that you enjoy that doesn't center around food. Because that's not the thing that you really want to live in, the body and the life that you really want to have. So if you're using food or alcohol as a reward, I want you to ask yourself that question. What do I really deserve? Okay? And once you've answered that question, then you can start figuring out how to put things in your life that make you feel taken care of, make you feel loved, make you feel worthy, instead of settling for a bag of chips or 3 glasses of wine after, with dinner, or whatever your reward of choice has been. Okay? All right. So I have said all of the things. Now, coming up next week, we're going to start a whole new series. But for now, I just want to remind you, email me if you want to work together. Okay? If you need this one-on-one support, you want to do it live and get all your questions answered and help create the plan and work the plan together, email me at drandreachristianparks@gmail.com. Let's get going. You can do this. I did it. You can too. Absolutely no question. I believe in you. Let me know how to help. Make comments, questions, anything below. I'm here. All right, see you soon. Bye.